Product called Gummy. I'm not endorsed. It's just something that I discovered, and it's great for removing residue from adhesive residue. This toolbox has a ton of residue on here. It probably had 50 stickers all over it. So I'm going to come back with a product called Gummy. You can pick it up at the Home Depot. Gummy, I'm not endorsed. It's just something that I discovered, and it's great for removing residue from adhesive residue. Well, step one is to wipe it down. So the way I use this product is I get a paper towel, and if you're wondering about the lid, it's because it had a child safety lid and I ripped the second half apart, disabling that. I find those to be very annoying. So if you take right here, so just rub this stuff on, and it's really effective in removing adhesive. So you do that, and if it's a thick adhesive that you're trying to remove, you'll have to do more than one application. Sometimes what I do is I just put some Gummy on and just swipe over the areas, let it set so that it can start to soften the adhesive, and then I'll come back in a little bit and wipe it off. And like I said, this is pretty effective stuff. But for the stubborn ones, and unfortunately this was already removed. And I say unfortunate because if it's fresh, if you just remove the sticker and you use Gummy, it comes off really easily. If the sticker's been gone for a while and it's been exposed, the adhesive has been exposed to air, it takes a little bit longer to come back and remove that. And you can see that paper towel is starting to change colors, and the color that it's changing isn't black. It's not removing the paint, it's actually removing the adhesive. And that first spot that I was going after is totally gone. So I don't know if you can see it. Used to be right here. It's gone. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the rest of this. When you're doing this and your sticker is still on there, or your residue is really thick, you want to use the Gummy and a single edge razor, and you want to really lather it up. So you're going to put a drop of Gummy, or more than a drop, and then you just take the razor and gently scrape parallel with the surface, but you've got to keep the razor blade at an angle. So if this is the surface, your razor blade is going to be like this, not like this. And because this is an older project, I really wasn't worried about scratches. There's quite a few scratches on it already. But if you're not good with the razor, don't use it, because you could make more work for yourself. It's just going to be elbow grease then. But the Gummy does a great job. Then I followed it up with this purple power cleaner and soap and water, and just wipe it repeatedly. So that's basically it on cleaning the toolbox hutch. Alright, so here is the finished product. And I removed all the stickers and the residue and everything else. So this is going to be a continuation of the adhesive removal, and you can see this side here is just coated. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take that off right here. And for that, you just use a single edge blade, razor blade, and I'm sure it's never going to come off in one piece, but I'll try. So we're just going to, there you go. So I'm just going to continue that. I'm bringing you in for a closer look. So here's the sticker, and here's how you have to take it off. Now, there's a lot of scratches on here, so it's not a big deal, but if you're really trying to preserve your base metal, your paint job, you want to come in at as low of an angle with the single edge razor as you can. And then what you're going to do is kind of a sawing motion. you're just going to kind of slide it under and pull it like this. And you see how I'm just getting it under there? Trying to get that tape residue off. So we just go like this, sliding it back and forth, getting it underneath that tape residue. Then when you get it to about this point, you put your thumb on the razor tightly and pull it back, just like that. And that's the method you want to use. So you don't want to come in at this angle. You want to come in as close to parallel as you can, and that way your razor doesn't dig in. The other thing is you have to use new blades, because once you start using these razors, they get little nubs and the edges will end up scratching whatever you're working on. The other thing is, if you use the corners and you try to scrape something with the corners, you actually bend the metal, and then when you're going like this, you risk digging in one or two lines on the corners on your paint, and you really don't want to do that. So you see what happened here is it tore, and we're just going to leave that, it doesn't matter. We're going to come back in with the same sawing action that I did before, and basically you just kind of come in, and once you get it started, you should be able to just push right into that adhesive. And then you grab your corner again and you pull, and just keep doing that until you've got this thing removed. So come in, do it like that little sawing. And the sawing, when I say sawing, I don't mean running the razor back and forth. It's just that initial position you're trying to gain underneath the tape. So you put it right on the corner, and then you just kind of slide it up. And once you gain that position in there, then you're going to just keep pushing and push the razor in without sawing. So here we are on the other side. And you can see I've got the razor in there, and I'm just going to try to get it right under. And when you get a nice edge that you can clamp with your thumb and the razor, that's where you stop. It's your sawing. And you'll get better at this, probably get really good if you do a lot of removal. And the reason this one is breaking apart so much is because if you notice, the toolbox has a dent right here, and that dent took the sticker out, and that's what's causing it not to peel anymore, because it got severed by the scratch. Whatever it was that dented this toolbox took that out. So we're just going to try to come in here, work right around that dent. There we go. And now we push. And I'm going to come back at it because the dent's here, so I'm going to come back at it from this direction. And that's the other thing is you're going to need to change directions. You can't continually go in one direction. So hopefully you're semi-ambidextrous and you can come in with your left hand or your right hand. But you are going to have to come in from both directions. So we're just going to keep this up, and we're going to keep going all the way, remove this sticker, and then we're going to get out the Goo Gone and do some more elbow grease. So you might notice that the way this toolbox is constructed, it's got this a post here, and whoever ran this ran it right into there. Now there is a possibility that this was factory, this so-called pinstripe, flamed pinstripe, could be from the factory. I don't believe it is, and the reason I don't is because the way it's terminated on one side is not even on the other side. So what you see me doing here is I'm trying to lift from one direction, and then I'll come back and go in the other direction, and there's that sawing action. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's quite obvious I'm not going to be able to get my razor in from that side. So we just are going to have to come in from both sides. And when you're ripping the tape, if you rip fast, it isn't going to come in one piece. So you kind of have to pace it and go really slowly. I'm going to get under that edge again. Actually, let me get you over here. Alright, so we're going to get under this edge and then just kind of push, saw a little bit, and there we go. That should give us enough to pull. And so on and so forth. So here's another technique that'll save you some time. When you're peeling the tape, pinstriping tape, or whatever you're doing, just do it real slow and watch for any tears, because if you do it slow, and by do it I mean pull the tape slowly, you'll see it start to rip, and it's not going to be the whole piece that's coming off, like right there. So here's your tip. Take your razor right there on that piece, and once you get it even with the tape, continue to pull. And then you can salvage that, and then you don't have to sit here and scrape the whole thing up again. It's much faster to do it this way, to just get those little pieces, get under them, and lift them a little bit, and then you've got a continuous piece of tape that you're pulling. And that's so much easier than pulling the tape off and then restarting every time. And you can see every time that happens, I'm able to get under that piece that's ripped and get it to continue. There's one right there, a tear. Now watch what I do. I get my razor underneath and I take it even to the tape that I'm pulling, and then I continue to pull. And you know, it's inevitable that you might pull and rip your tape, but this should save you a lot of time. There's a piece right there. Watch what I do. I'm going to get my razor right underneath it and push it until it's even with the part that I'm taking off, and there you go. And it saves you a lot of time, because you don't have to keep starting over every single time your tape breaks. Just a little tip for you guys. So here we're starting around the corner, around a curve, but it's the same procedure. You just have to be a little more careful so you don't dig into your paint. But you're going to get under, and once you get under, you're going to grab it and lift that piece of tape all at once. And I don't know if you've noticed that, but I folded the tape onto itself, and that gives me something to grab without having to get my gloves all sticky. Alright, where to begin? There's so much residue on this toolbox. It's kind of a pain. Now, Goo Gone comes in another form, and that's this. So get yourself some and go to town. So you see what I do there is I put a little Goo Gone on, then I use this new razor blade to get in there, and look at that. It's just taking that residue right off. See that tape residue? It just comes right off. Now when you don't have Goo Gone, then right here you can see it's starting to be very difficult to come off. So, and it didn't come off. So you want to make sure you use plenty of Goo Gone. In addition to the Goo Gone, you want to get a paper towel, and I like to cut off a little piece of the paper towel, because as I scrape the residue and it's on my razor, what I'll do is I will wipe it onto the paper, and that way I can continue working. So let's go ahead and put a little more Goo Gone on there, get some on the razor, and then we'll just continue to work this off so you can see how well it does. And you can see the area where right there it did not want to come off. But you see all this residue in this corner? What I'll do is I'll spread the Goo Gone onto it and then come back with the razor and just do a light scraping. Now the angle of that blade is really important. You want to keep that angle as close to parallel as you can get it. So there you have it. Stickers removed, cleaned up, and it's looking pretty decent. Short video. Thanks for watching.